Operation Restore Hope is moving like clockwork as American Marines prepare Somalia for the biggest humanitarian aid effort in history. We'll have a live update. In the United States, the owner of the Cincinnati Reds baseball team tries to get out from under allegations that she is a racist. And in Britain, an official ending to a world-class fairy tale.
I'm horrified. I think it's really sad.
This is the CBS Evening News, live from the now fully operational International Airport in Mogadishu, Somalia. Good evening. U.S. Marines, now supplemented by the French Foreign Legion, are moving ever deeper into this capital city and plan soon to move deep into the countryside. American forces swept into Somalia this morning to clear the way for relief to this starving and chaotic country. U.S. Marines quickly seized the airport and the seaport. No resistance, no casualties. Alan Pizzi has the first of our reports about a day of spectacular events.
The opening spectacle of Operation Restore Hope was designed for maximum effect, and it succeeded. America saw it almost live, and the impact in Somalia was far-reaching. The first order was to secure the key targets of the airport and the harbor. Both sides were on edge. The few shots at the fort nearly became a crisis. Some hapless prisoners were briefly held, and it was over. Then ordinary Somalis gathered for a closer look. They peered over walls, looked on from the tops of hills, and gazed along the seashore. Posturing is an important psychological weapon in a society where strength is respected, and the Marines did make an impression. Welcome to Somalia, the children sang. Success for the U.S. mission to ease suffering in Somalia hinges on convincing the warlords and gunmen that they are no longer number one. Gunships probed the neighborhoods beyond the Marines' perimeter looking for technicals, and many reportedly removed their guns after the gunships passed. Several UN vehicles were reportedly fired on today, and gunfights still sent wounded to hospitals, but the toll was unusually low. Guns were conspicuous by their absence on streets that normally look like a war movie, and ordinary Somalis gave credit to the Marines.
We are greatly happy, and we are welcoming with open heart the American soldiers.
Between flights of giant cargo planes bringing in supplies for the Marines, a relief flight landed. The first to use the main airport since the aid agencies had to abandon it because of looting. There are plans to move Marines into remote famine-hit areas quickly. The prospect of the Marines coming reportedly sent 20 technicals belonging to a leading warlord scurrying out of the town of Baidoa.
General Adid is actually just trying to keep his powder dry, so taking his heavy artillery out of probably what would be next priority for the U.S. troops, towns like Baidoa.
For up to 250,000 people whose lives are dependent on food aid, how fast the Marines can move to the next stage of Operation Restore Hope is crucial. The Marines would like to make a grand gesture of handing out food aid, according to informed sources, but that's the business of relief workers. The massive transport capability of the U.S. military, combined with the security the Marines and troops to follow provide, could make all the difference between life and death. And today's smooth start was a vital first step. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Mogadishu.
Not just on television screens, but in reality on the ground, the U.S. military scored a success on day one of its mission to save Somalia, but no one is taking anything for granted. The Marine Corps has too many memories for that. Bob Simon has a report.
The Marines headed off on a special mission this afternoon, a mission and a memorial. They were going to secure the old American Embassy compound and to hoist the flag there. They were carrying the same flag that flew over the Marine barracks in Beirut before a car bomb killed 241 of their colleagues in 1983. It was the Marines' first foray across town, across the green line of this divided city. Shades of Beirut were everywhere. People watched the parade, Marines watched the people, each trying to decipher the other's intentions from an expression, a gesture, a smile. The convoy moved slowly, the pace of a funeral cortege, through the once proud gates of the embassy compound. It's a wasteland now. The Marines treated it like an enemy stronghold, their fingers at the ready, their desert camouflage not quite matching the African foliage. Once inside the building, they enforced an open-door policy. This was the embassy during the 1980s, when Somalia was America's client state on the Horn of Africa, one of Washington's black pawns in the Cold War game. It was besieged by some of the warring factions in January 1991. The embassy personnel were rescued by Marines. The factions then did to the embassy what they proceeded to do to their country. They reduced it to rubble. That could now change.
Since this is U.S. territory, once the compound has been secured, we're going to once again fly our national colors.
It wasn't easy. There was no ladder. A Marine had to shimmy up the flagpole. It was a solemn moment.
A friend of mine gave it to me, said someday you may have an opportunity to put this up somewhere. At the time, I didn't think there was much chance of that, but brought it along with me anyway, and it turned out, I guess he was right.
This was the only American flag raised today. This is not an invasion or a conquest. As in Beirut, it's just a few good men trying to help another nation in need. Another treacherous country where all the members of all the murderous factions look alike. Within minutes after the ceremony, Somalis seemed to think it was a functioning embassy again. It was as if they were already lining up for visas. On seeing all the joy in the streets, the smiles, and the welcomes today, one Marine with memories reflected, they really think we'll save them, just the way the Lebanese did, almost exactly 10 years ago. Bob Simon, CBS News, Mogadishu.
Now let's go to David Martin at the Pentagon for the official version of how U.S. military leaders in Washington view the operation.
The long camouflage line of reinforcements began moving today, the start of a buildup which is expected to take 2 or 3 weeks. Marines from Camp Pendleton, California, left for a nearby airbase to catch the ultimate red-eye special, a 22-hour non-stop flight. The ship carrying much of their equipment is already waiting for them off the coast of Somalia.
My company's here to offload that ship. It's the most important thing in the world. As soon as we hit the deck, because there is no gear but what we take off that ship. Nobody can do anything without that.
Army troops from Fort Drum, New York will take longer to get there since some of their heavier equipment must be moved by train and loaded aboard ship for the 2-week voyage to the Horn of Africa. The equipment is needed to open up the desolate interior of Somalia.
They'll be going there to improve the roads, keep the roads open so their convoys bringing relief supplies can get better to the distribution centers.
Unloading ships at the port in Mogadishu is going to take some work.
Right now, we can take one ship at a time and offload it. Our intent is to expand that capability. I will tell you, it may take some dredging in order to bring ships pierside.
Working conditions in Mogadishu are difficult, but so far, for American troops at least, they are safe. Hordes of cameramen with their blinding lights were the greatest obstacle.
You want to get that line out of my face?
Outside Mogadishu, where U.S. troops must go next, there has been increased fighting as warlords make one last power grab before the Marines arrive. The Pentagon officials say it is starting to die down.
That the security situation at those airfields and so on where we will go in future is beginning to resolve itself.
As you might expect, the airfields in the interior of the country are in even worse shape than the one at Mogadishu. And the commanders of this operation are right now trying to figure out which one to go to next. Dan?
Thanks, David. We'll have more live from Somalia a little later in the broadcast, but coming up next, Connie Chung in New York with the rest of the day's developments, including the latest official news from Prince Charles and Princess Diana. So stay here with us.
This is the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme Special Edition. It's got a V6, 4-speed automatic, air, cruise control, and other neat stuff. It's also $4,000 less than a Honda Accord, $4,100 less than a Toyota Camry, and more than $5,000 less than that Nissan Maxima. The Cutlass Supreme Special Edition. It's your choice.
Some people get nasal congestion, but But if you get sinus congestion, use a sinus spray like Sinex. Only Sinex has a decongestant plus Vicks Vapors, so you can feel your swollen passages open up. For sinus, think Sinex.
Shoot some slices, shoot some shreds, shoot some salad.
Presto Salad Shooter Slicer Shredder. Point and shoot right where you want. Clean up easy, dishwasher safe, store anywhere. Original and professional salad shooters.
Their wedding 11 years ago captivated the entire world. Now, Charles and Diana are going their separate ways. But someday they could be together again as England's king and queen. Tom Fenton explains.
Both were out of town today, Charles in Wales, Diana in the north of England, pursuing their separate lives. That's the way it's been for years. But today they ended the pretense that they're still a couple.
It is announced from Buckingham Palace that with regret, the Prince and Princess of Wales have decided to separate.
I'm horrified. I think it's really sad. I know it was inevitable, but it's a real shame.
If they don't love each other, then I think it's probably best for all of them and for the family.
Charles and Diana will share the two children, William and Harry. She has made clear her concern for them.
Hugging has no harmful side effects.
Charles gets the country estate, Highgrove, but Diana is the true victor. She will live in Kensington Palace and continue her lifestyle and duties as the most popular member of the royal family. Britain's last major royal crisis was in the 1930s. That was resolved when Edward VIII gave up his throne to marry the woman he loved, a divorced American. This time, things are much more complicated. The big surprise is the announcement that Diana can still become queen. That raises the question of her private life in the years until she and Charles ascend to the throne.
The idea of a future queen having going out on dates with men who are not her husband is not the way the British public perceives its royal family behaving.
I'm sure this is going to run and run.
Newspapers are now gearing up for the next chapter. Editors are already speculating on past and future love interests.
Is there any real close to the husband? Okay, so pick up Camilla there.
Britain is changing as fast as the royal family, which reflects this country's record divorce rate. 3 out of 4 of the Queen's children are divorced or separated. One thing is clear. The separation will be a relief for both Charles and Diana, and a relief to British subjects who've become weary of the endless uncertainty. Their joint public appearances in recent months have been painful to watch. Tom Fenton, CBS News, London.
There was a third day of deadly rioting between Muslims and Hindus all across India. Soldiers with orders to shoot rioters on sight have been unable to stop the fighting. Today alone, an estimated 200 people were killed, bringing the death toll to nearly 700. The rioting began after militant Hindus destroyed a Muslim mosque last Sunday. In Moscow today, Boris Yeltsin took it on the chin from the Russian Congress. Deputies rejected his nominee for Prime Minister Yegor Gaidar. Gaidar has been point man for Yeltsin's unpopular economic reforms. Yeltsin says he'll reappoint Gaidar as acting prime minister for at least 3 more months. President-elect Clinton is expected to make his first cabinet appointments this week, including a woman for Attorney General. Today, Governor Clinton came out with new and tougher ethics rules for all his top appointees. Among other things, they will have to agree not to lobby their agencies for 5 years after they leave office. For months, there have been allegations that the FBI, the Justice Department, and the CIA withheld information about illegal loans by a bank in Atlanta to Saddam Hussein. Today, a retired federal judge appointed to look into the case announced his findings. Rita Braver has our report.
There will be no independent counsel to investigate the Bush administration's handling of a case involving huge loans to Saddam Hussein's government. The lawyer appointed by the Attorney General to look into the matter said there was no evidence of criminal activity by any U.S. official.
I have found little fault with the handling of the investigation and prosecution. When I can say that I find little fault with something, that means it's virtually perfect.
The question was whether higher-ups in the Bush administration deliberately ignored alleged fraud by an Italian bank known as BNL, which funneled billions in U.S. guaranteed loans to Iraq before the Gulf War. The money was supposed to be used to buy U.S. agriculture products, but may have gone for the Iraqi military buildup. And there have been allegations that the Justice Department put all the blame on one mid-level bank employee, Christopher Dragul. to avoid disclosing a secret international effort to help Iraq. Lacey called the charge of a cover-up nonsense.
Many decent people out of this case have had their careers tarnished, their reputations stained by being charged with being corrupt, being part of a cover-up, and these are baseless charges. You've been taken in by them.
But some in Congress are unwilling to accept the word of the Attorney General's hand-picked investigator.
I think they have strung out and abused and sort of laughed at the process. I am also troubled, more importantly, because now we may never get to the bottom of this.
The controversy will continue, especially because U.S. taxpayers could lose some $2 billion in the loan scheme. Rita Braver, CBS News at the Justice Department.
A former top official of the CIA was convicted of perjury today in the Iran-Contra case. A federal jury in Washington found Claire George guilty of 2 counts of lying to Congress. George could get up to 5 years in prison for each count. Coming up next on the CBS Evening News, racism inside baseball. The owner of the Cincinnati Reds admits she's part of the problem.
Well, I am not without blame in this matter. I am also not the cause of the problem.
Hi, I'm Sears Associate Ed Boyd, and the big news is our lowest price ever on these Kenmore appliances.
This Kenmore upright back with a powerful 7.5 amps and onboard attachments, just $99.99. You save $40. This Kenmore washer, $246, matching dryer, $196. Both large capacity, both 2 cycles. You save $66 on the pair. Only at Sears Brand Central now.
You can count on me.
I hear that a few of you still haven't tried delicious Sunsweet pitted prunes. Well, I don't know why. Sunsweet prunes are tender and sweet, and they won't bite. Honest. Not if you bite them first.
Everybody needs some.
$12 for every mile over the limit.
That's $300.
You can add fast, too. Left.
To send someone money fast, call 1-800-CALL-CASH or come to any Western Union location. Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
Oh, now this is a rip-roaring combination. I mean, flakes with flakes. Pretty imaginative. I mean, you'd never sell me on something like this. I don't buy flakes. I date them sometimes, but I don't want to go into that. No, I thought I'd be bored silly by these, but they're simple and crunchy. Actually, I think you got something here.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes? Wow.
Taste them again for the first time.
All they want is your car, if you're lucky.
There was a gun right in my face.
Steal that car. An all-new 48 Hours tonight.
In Louisville today, owners of the Major League Baseball teams wound up off-season meetings that dealt with as much with charges of racism as trades and free agents. Cincinnati's Marge Schott publicly tried to make amends for admitted racist remarks, but also said the problem didn't start with her. Correspondent Bruce Morton has the story from Louisville.
Reds President Marge Schott.
The Reds' embattled owner made a surprise appearance before reporters at baseball's winter meetings to say, "I'm sorry."
I know in my heart that I'm not a racist or bigot. I acknowledge that in the past I have on occasion made insensitive remarks which I know hurt other people. On those occasions, it was my mouth, but not my heart speaking.
Baseball's investigation of the charges Mrs. Schott used racially abusive language about blacks and Jews is still underway.
We're not going to hurry it. We're going to be complete, but it won't be a month.
The procedure that we're following has been done as expeditiously as possible and as sensitively as possible.
Schott made one other point today. She is a symptom, not a cause.
Minority issues have been present in baseball long before I came to the game.
That's the one point on which Schott and the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who has been protesting baseball's racial record, agree.
We must not be allowed to see Marge Schott as a scapegoat for the sins of institutional racism. All right.
Major League Baseball says it has made progress.
I would say in the front office there has been some progress, and we need to make more.
Jackson, who had what he called an inconclusive meeting with some owners, is threatening a baseball boycott.
When the baseball season opens in April, when it comes to going in that stadium, the number must be 0.
Marge Schott's case is simple. Find out what she said and decide what to do about it. Baseball's overall problems with race are tougher and will take longer to solve. Bruce Morton, CBS News, Louisville.
During the baseball meetings today, one of the owners suffered a fatal heart attack. Carl Barger of the Florida Marlins expansion team. American League President Bobby Brown, a cardiologist, gave Barger mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but he later died in the hospital. Carl Barger was 62. And Vincent Gardenia, the longtime character actor, has died apparently of a heart attack. He was 70.
Whoa, 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 what have we got here?
You may remember him as Archie Bunker's neighbor in the TV series All in the Family. He won Emmy and Tony Awards, and his performance in Moonstruck earned Vincent Gardenia an Oscar nomination.
Your life is not built on nothing. Ti amo.
Anch'io ti amo.
When the person who doctors the family gets a cough and cold, everyone suffers.
Mom, someone took my cream.
I heard it myself. Time to doctor that cough with Robitussin, because more doctors and pharmacists recommend Robitussin than any other cough medicine.
Look, Mom's feeling better.
Robitussin, recommended by Dr. Mom. Which Robitussin is right for you? Ask your doctor or pharmacist. And now there's Robitussin cough drops. Cough drops from the cough experts.
Raisin Brans are good for you, but they're all the same. So this is total Raisin Bran, huh? Wow, it's got 100% of all these vitamins and minerals. Kellogg's has 100% of just one? That's odd.
Total Raisin Bran. The Raisin Bran with the total difference.
Sears has the lowest monthly payments of any national department store. Just use your Sears Charge Plus and get these great gifts, or anything else for $1,000 for only $21 a month. The lowest monthly payments only at Sears. You can count on it.
Head race.
Not so fast, Ron Ryan. These have always brought me luck.
I'll bet.
White Diamonds, the intriguing new fragrance from Elizabeth Taylor.
How quickly can American aid be brought to those who need it most? Dr. Bob Arnott reports live tomorrow on CBS This Morning with Harry Smith and Paula Zahn.
Just 24 hours ago, the U.S. military swept into Somalia with a carefully orchestrated and staged operation that in some ways came off looking like a scene from some bizarre Hollywood movie. It was all carried out in the eerie glow of a full moon mixed with the glare of television cameras. If you had been here with us, what follows is some of what you would have seen and heard.
Hey, stop right there! Stop right there!
Navy SEALs and Marine reconnaissance units were surprised not by enemy fire,
Welcome to Somalia. Where are you guys from?
but by the glare of television lights and popping flash bulbs of still cameras encouraged by the Defense Department.
You guys really spoiled our nice little raid that we want to come in without anybody knowing. No, you walk back where you just came from right now. Don't come no closer.
Order was soon restored to the beach as the bulk of the Marine force landed and moved out. Scattered gunshots were heard as the Marines moved and secured the seaport.
Hands out! Hands out! We are co-ed! Let's go! Get out! Get out!
A few Somali citizens were detained but were soon released. With Within 2 hours, U.S. forces were in control as curious Somalis came out of their homes and looked on in hope.
It makes me a little better that I feel better that I'm American.
Introducing Ford Taurus SHO and the craving. If you've had a craving for a truly sophisticated performance sedan, may we suggest our 24-valve, 220 horsepower Taurus SHO, now available with automatic transmission. Think of it as caviar for the power-hungry.
They told me how Dow can take all this coal and turn it into clean burning gas.
Wouldn't that cut down on acid rain?
You got it.
Sounds like one serious job, son. I just wish it wasn't so far away.
Gonna miss you, Mike.
Hey, take care of this for me.
You can make a difference in what tomorrow brings.
Son, show them what you got.
'Cause Dow lets you do great things.
When you're baking for the holidays, use all-natural Pam cooking spray. It lets all the fresh baked taste come through. And that's sure to bring the house down. With Pam, nothing comes between you and the taste of your food.
Now you can take your favorite juice with all its great taste and stir in new Dristan juice mix-in. Dristan will ease your cough and nasal congestion and soothe your pain without drowsiness. New Dristan juice mix-in is the newest way to take care of your cold.
The Remington microscreen shaves as close as a blade or your money back. Flexible screens let you shave below skin level. The Remington microscreen. Ladies, shave in or out of the shower. The Lady Remington Wet Dry.
I recommend Isotoner Lady Slippers. Sharon, Grandma, Susan, and little Karen. So start the season out on the right foot.
The next big move for the Marines here will be to Baidoa. That's in the interior. There's been trouble there. They'll be trying to secure the airport for the arrival later of the Army's 10th Mountain Division. That will be risky business. A Somali colleague said today that his feelings about the invasion, this well-intentioned American effort, are mixed. On the one hand, relief that help has arrived. On the other, humiliation that his country could not solve its own problems. For Americans, too, feelings are mixed. Pride in our determination and ability to make a difference. Anxiety about the risk, about what are we getting into, and how deep. I'll be back later tonight on 48 Hours with more live from Mogadishu as part of CBS News' continuing commitment to cover this story of the effort to save Somalia. For now, Dan Rather reporting, CBS News, Mogadishu. See you later on 48 Hours.
Experience CBS News. This is CBS.
Next on Hard Copy, it's